So you're sitting there and you're wondering, why the bloody hell am I crashing at every single corner or spinning out all the bloody time in rally? Well, my answer to you is I'll give you 5 tips in this video to learn from, string together, which will help you build a bit of an idea how to understand how to approach corners, how to just approach a rally in general. It's going to help you climb the impossible mountain that is learning how to be a fairly quick guy or consistent even in rally, because let's face it, rally is one of the hardest sports and transfers into games very easily to be one of the hardest racing game genres I feel that there is in it. So if you're one of these guys who really needs some help, just some tips, or maybe just sit down and listen to someone's take on the things that you think would be a good point to help others with rally, jump in. We're going to Kenya, and you can join me for my first time on Kenya for, I don't even know, 6 months or something. So it's going to be brutal, it's going to be fast, but we're going to learn something along the way. Let's hit it. So Rally Kenya, one of the longest stages. I haven't done this stage in a long time, so this is the first time on it, so it's going to be a bit wild. But the first point we're going to come to, well, slow down your entry. This is the biggest beginner mistake, and even it transfers through the entire skill level you're at. It's very easy to come in way too hot, because most players, they approach a rally corner like a circuit racing corner, which is completely different. Circuit racing is brake late, attack the corner, hope for the best. But rally works very differently to that, because rally roads are very narrow and extremely unpredictable. You know, for example, here you've got I've done a pretty sharp entry point here. It looks pretty flat, but in the center of the road, you can see I'm trying to keep my wheels on either side of the hump there. As we come through this little section here, you can see it's still not as important, but now we get back to that central hump. So we really want to be centered across the road if we can, to get the least resistance. This is where setup comes in key, actually, because you've actually raised the body height a little bit so it doesn't scrape underneath the car. But yeah, a very good point nonetheless. But if you enter way too fast, the car understeers or spins, because obviously we're on dirt. Cars are going to react a lot different to circuit racing, and arguably with circuit racing it's a lot more I'd say it's a lot more accurate with what you can do, whereas a rally car, if you mess up something like that, it's going to push into a very bad understeer or oversteer, or just a bad slide. Very hard to resettle a car once it's unsettled in rally, especially on a stage like this. It's pretty rough, so it is hard. But the main goal, if you really want to approach a corner, if I could leave you with what goal for this, is to just set up the car very early. Because in rally, the fastest drivers actually brake earlier than you expect. They slow down the car before the corner so they can rotate it and get back on the throttle. So rotating the car, what does that mean? Rotating the car is all about weight transfer. So when you're braking or you dab the brakes, it shifts all the weight of the car onto the front wheels, which helps the car pivot on the front wheels more so, because that's where the grip is, as the back lifts up or gets light, which rotates the arse end of the car around the front. This is the best way you can do Scandinavian flicks, hairpins if you don't want to use a handbrake. It's all got to do with weight transfer. So if you feel like you're constantly running wide or spinning on an exit, chances are you're just simply carrying way too much speed. Tip number 2 is look further down the bloody road. Vision is one of the most overlooked rally skills, because, well, beginners focus on the corner they're currently in, but rally drivers are already thinking 2, 3, sometimes even 4 corners ahead where you even are on the track. Why? Well, looking ahead improves reaction time, because you can obviously see what's coming up. You can prepare the car, helps with the position of the car on the track. So like I was saying before, you really want to position the car well for a corner, depending on what the layout is. Say it's a free right tight end, so obviously with that, you got to come in wide to cut in close. Many examples I could use with post notes, but positioning the car for the corner is the absolute key for this. But what it actually really does, it just makes the driving experience smoother, which obviously translates into a faster time and more consistent as well. So if you're starting at the apex of the corner you're in, you're already behind. The faster you drive in rally, the further ahead you need to look. So for example, you're coming into a hairpin, I'll get one look at the center of the apex, and then before I'm even at the center of the apex, I'm already looking out to the exit of the corner. This is very true in circuit racing as well. If you watch a lot of the guys where they put their eyes on the screen with an eye tracker or something like that, you'll see what I mean. They're looking very, very far out in front. You know, you also use your peripheral vision for the place you are in, and you're spotting with the center of your eye, if that makes any sense at all. But professional rally drivers are just constantly scanning the road, preparing for what's coming up next. So the whole thing with that is just adjust your vision. So instead of looking 30, 40, 50 meters in front of you, like this section now, I'm looking right down the road. Right down there. I can see this corner coming here. As you see, I've already downshifted to get ready for this corner coming up. And yeah, I've scanned that road. I'm looking very, very far ahead. Tip number 3 is trust the pace notes, man. Well, for the most part, but let's get into it. This is something many players ignore at first, because pace notes, what they do, they're guiding you on the track, giving you a heads up what's coming up so you can anticipate it. And yeah, they just tell you the corner severity. They tell you the upcoming hazards as well, and they even tell you in some cases where to position the car. You know, it might be say it's a jump, but he'll say, the co-driver will say, you know, keep left or keep right, because the next where you're landing is going to be into another corner, and if you land on the wrong side of that bump or that jump, well, you're going off and you're going to have a picnic in the forest, because it's not going to be a good day. But basically, if you want to break it down into what this whole thing is, your co-driver is basically telling your future. So with many beginners, they panic when a corner appears because they are reacting too late because of the previous 2 examples. Haven't scanned where they are, and they've got very bad positioning because of the bad corner setup. So trusting the co-driver notes with this sort of stuff is absolutely key, especially when you're in a track you don't know or for the first time, because as you know, you can learn a track over the time. It's what all the quick guys do. They know exactly where to be on every corner, but the first, I don't even know, a hell of a lot of the first few attempts, you're really going off the co-driver's notes. It is what it is. But they allow you to drive proactively instead of reactively is probably my biggest point I could put into that. So once you just have a really good understanding or a good trust, and you just understand what the actual pace notes calls are, when you can dissect them down into the bare bones of what a call is, you know, 1 right, 2 right, 3 right, just all the little things like that, you're going to brake way earlier, going to prepare the car way earlier, and you're going to stay a hell of a lot smoother. Once you start driving based on the pace notes instead of what you see, rally suddenly becomes a hell of a lot more predictable. Your time's going to go up, and consistently you're just going to be a lot better, and you're going to enjoy it more, to be honest. Tip number 4, this is probably one of my favorite ones, to be honest, but it's don't fight the slide. This is where rally looks absolutely chaotic. To new players, sliding feels like you're losing control, especially if you come from a circuit racing background. Sliding is obviously the enemy. In rally, it's completely different, because controlled sliding is actually the fastest way through many corners in rally, believe it or not. I know it must look pretty chaotic to the new sort of fellas who jump on this game, or people who watch gameplay that aren't really into the rally thing as well. You might think you're just out of control the whole time, but I can tell you now, most guys who are doing this sort of stuff, myself included, it's very controlled, and the car's doing it pretty much exactly what you want it to do, once you obviously understand the tune and get a good feel for it. But yeah, so rally cars, they rotate using the weight transfer, like I've already mentioned. The rear stepping out helps the point of the car. So basically, coming into a corner like that, you've already set up the car to get off the weight like there. That's slid that whole corner to land on the outside, which worked really well for the next corner as well. As you can see, it just followed on through. Same with this one here and there as well. I've slid straight across the center into the center of this one to kiss the apex, and you got a nice line on the exit. It's all about controlled sliding. If the rear of the car steps out slightly, that's not necessarily a mistake. That's actually helping the car rotate. But you can get overhyped with this sort of stuff and put in too many of this type of style of driving, and it can impact you. So it is a bit of give and take. But the highlight, well, I'd say it's controlled slide and panic over correction, because what beginners often do with this sort of stuff is they snap back the wheel, which jerks the car, unsettles it really badly, or they lift off suddenly without any sort of any plan of what the car's actually doing. So understanding the whole controlled slide, how to initiate slides, just working around rally car, what it does, what it can do, and how it reacts. Massive key. But the key is to stay calm and guide the slide instead of fighting the slide. Tip number 5, smooth inputs win rally. This one surprises people. Rally looks aggressive from the outside, but the fastest drivers are extremely smooth. Smooth throttle, controlled steering, gentle corrections. Why does it matter? As I said before, it keeps the car balanced. It doesn't get all squirrely out of control where you're fighting it the entire time. You actually maintain traction. You can do this via very smooth exits or even a controlled slide. Sometimes that's the fastest way through a corner, even though you might think you're losing time because of what you're doing. But no. It also prevents sudden weight shifts, just with the gentle corrections. So it's all about controllability as well as a hell of a lot of consistency. Fast rally drivers look wild on screen, but the actual inputs are surprisingly smooth. If you're constantly jerking the wheel and stabbing the throttle, the car it's just never going to settle. You're going to be, I don't even know how could I even put this? It's kind of like when you step on a slippery surface on your feet with thongs on. You can't, left, right, forward and back with your feet trying to balance it. You look like a freaking idiot. Whereas if you just stepped over the puddle because you looked ahead, you'd be sweet. I don't even know if that works. I made that up just then, but it sounds good to me. So if rally feels impossible right now, go back through these tips. I really honestly do believe that they'll help new guys especially, but even some of the guys who don't play it too often. It's just some good little tips there, man. So obviously those 5 tips were: slow down your entry, up the vision, look out more than you look down, trust the pace notes, smoother inputs to control the car over a length of time as well as through corners. Keep it smooth as you can. I know rally looks chaotic, but it's not that crazy when you're actually driving it. And tip number 5, control the slide, embrace the slide, and learn and understand that sliding in rally completely normal, and it's probably the best way. There is many ways you can use slides. Myself sometimes use a very aggressive angle to go nearly 90 degrees or massive angle into a corner to wash off speed instead of using the brakes, just for a short sharp slowdown sort of section. Probably wouldn't recommend that straight away. That's a bit of a skill to learn over time, but that's more sort of drive style. If you go back from my videos, I use a lot of angle to sort of dictate speed and position of the car. A lot of guys do that as well, but I do it a little more aggressively. It's just how I've learned to drive. I probably watch too much Colin McRae, to be honest. With all that, I can tell you that once all these things start to click, rally becomes one of the most satisfying experiences you can have on a sim. I trust you. Persevere with it, continue with it, because that's how it's become my favorite thing to do, honestly. This whole rig you're on right now, the screen, everything around this literal room I built just to do this because I find it so freaking fun. The passion might be not as big for you, but I guarantee you, once you really get an understanding on rally and you get a decent understanding of how it all works, you're gonna love it. I promise you that. With that, have a good day, good night, good afternoon. Drop a comment down below what helped you the most with what tip you reckon, or a tip that maybe I forgot which would help other people. I like to do that just to keep everyone, I just like all the different angles people look at stuff. It's very interesting to me, so I'll try and reply to as many as I can. But yeah, have a good day, good night, or good afternoon, like I said, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.